Talking about the struggles against spin just 2 days ago in the match between these two sides. We'll take a look at some of the poor batting displays, good spin bowling if you like, and we'll get Kumar to kind of talk us through it. So, Kumar, why did they struggle the other day?
Well, I think it's mainly because of the pitch. If you look at this pitch, there's variable bounce, variable turn, and the ball seems, if you deliver it at the right pace, seems to stick in the wicket. So scoring your boundaries as well as your singles becomes a problem. So it's a bit harsh to say it was bad batting. I'd rather say it was more the pitch, but also some very, very smart using of the pitch by the spin bowlers.
Because we've got one of the best players alongside us. So what are the key things, turning pitch, not turning pitch, but you're thinking about when you're playing against top quality spin?
Well, I think the first thing is strike rotation. That's the one thing that you need to do to constantly build pressure on the bowler. So if I'm batting in an ODI or even a T20, when I first go in, I'd be looking in a T20 for a boundary option, of course, even at the start of my innings. But I'll have my areas of scoring. I'll be punching down the ground to long off, long on, and the sweepers for once. And if they're Eastern, I'll be trying to work it away on the leg side. That's in the World Cup, 50-over game. You're just starting to accelerate. And Shakib has just brought the offside field in. So now I'm moving wide outside off stump to try and make him bowl wider. That opens up the offside as well as the leg side. Against Maxwell in the next game, it was a case of trying to get him off his length. So one down the track, hit against the spin because there's not much turn. And the next one, predictably, most good spin bowlers won't do it, but Maxwell's more of a part-timer. He dropped it short enough for me to go back and cut. So I think good players of spin, I don't consider myself one of the best players of spin, I manage, but the better players of spin.
Just go back to you said the first ball you got in a T20 and you potentially have a boundary option. When do you work out what is your boundary option?
Well, it depends. One of the best examples I can give you was the last T20 World Cup final when I went into bat. I had in my mind the fact that if Jadeja bowls to me, he'll bowl around the wicket. The moment he bowls around the wicket immediately to me at the start, makes it a bit risky for me to start off by going across the line. But for some reason, he started off bowling over the wicket. And the moment I saw him there, in my mind, I immediately knew they had brought short fine leg to short square leg, taken the deep square leg finer, and suddenly I knew anything just outside off stump, I had a free hit over square leg. And the first two boundaries I hit, one was a 4, one was a 6. Was over that square leg fielder and immediately got me going. So when I go in and I see the field, I see the bowler, immediately it strikes me, this is what I can do.
We saw that footage there of Shakib Al-Hassan bowling to you, like Jadeja, a left armour. Talk us through those foot movements, because they look quite extravagant at one stage. Why are you getting so far across? Explain that to us.
Because I'm trying to open up both sides. Once I go here, it gives me a really good option. If he goes really wide, I can drive him through the offside. He doesn't have a sweeper down there. I still remember that in that instance. But if I go down here and he bowls it slightly straighter, I can go between deep mid-wicket and long on with a slog sweep, or even when they push the square leg a bit squarer, I can even go a finer sweep for 4 runs here. So it's always giving me a boundary option. And if nothing works, at least I can still dink it to short square leg and run.
And I guess you're outside the line, it takes LBW out of play, it'll be very difficult to get bowled from there. How about the ball that's turning away from you with Maxwell? Would you stay further leg side and give yourself a bit more room?
I think the best players of spin forget about turn. They forget about their wickets. They forget about getting out. It's about attacking, and it's about ensuring that the bowler bowls to you. And if it's turning away, and if you watch the last game between KKR and CSK, you saw Brendan McCullum. He's not the best player of spin, especially at the start of his innings. You could see that when Chawla was bowling, his foot was more across the line. It didn't spin, got out LBW. If you watch A.B. de Villiers and Virat Kohli play, you'll find that the bat's well in front to any ball that's even turning away, and their leg position depends on where they want to score. They'll be keeping their legs straight down the wicket, giving them more room to hit through the offside, and even if they're stern, the bat's well in front of the pads, and they're catching up with the ball as it turns. And the best players of spin are able to do that.
Well, you mentioned Virat Kohli and A.B. de Villiers. We're going to take a little look at them in action here. And I guess the kind of lightness of feet and picking length is key here.
Yeah, I think so. I think Michael would agree that they're both very different players of spin. But the one thing they have in common, line and length, they pick it up instantly. On the back foot, anything short, they can hit it for 4 or 6. That puts a lot of pressure on any spin ball.
And AB de Villiers now on the front foot on the drive, and I guess this is the flip side. You've got the short one, maybe anticipating the next one's going to be full. What's the special about this?
That's a leg spin. He's just immediately picked up the variation. He's got his head right to the ball and driven it really, really well along the ground. Left arm spinner bowling at the wicket. Again, his left leg, if you see, it's not going to the ball. It's giving him enough room to have his hands go right through the line of that ball. And you can see his hand speed, his bat speed. You will see that he's not really hitting across it, but rather hitting through it. And if he gets close enough, and Virat does, he has a big stride forward, head right over the ball, so it allows him to still hit through the ball even on a turning wicket.
So that's Kohli. Let's have a look at de Villiers, because he does things slightly differently, but just as effectively.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful example of maneuvering the ball into the gaps that he wants to play.
Has he decided where he's going to hit that almost, or where he wants to hit that?
No, I think when you really watch him, there he goes. He's the one earlier. He's gone the same way and decided, okay, this is going over extra cover. The next ball, the same line, he's decided, okay, I'm just going to go dead straight at it. And even though it's against the spin, because they're batsmen who get so close to the ball, who watch and pick up little subtleties of delivery, they're able to do what most of us can't. Super Kings or any other side, the moment anyone starts going over extra cover, they shift the shot extra cover. They have almost 3 people just in front of cover, point, and just behind point. Then they bring the sweeper to cover that shot over extra cover. Immediately you do that, players now just go reverse.
Yeah.
You know, we were all taught that these were not real cricketing shots, but the point is, I think we all have to adapt. Youngsters, especially in any country, England, Sri Lanka, wherever, they have to have more options. And when you watch players like this, it's very important to really understand that cricket's about moving the game forward. If you're a batsman, it's about scoring runs.
Yeah.
And build those options into your game at a very young age. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be scared to express yourself. Like Michael said, the same ball, if you have 3 options, imagine the poor bowler.
I'd take 2.
Some of us had none, Michael. Just quickly on the sweep shots, a little bit of technique on the sweep in terms of your head going to the ball for boys and girls watching at home. How do you play it? What are your considerations?
Well, it's about basically getting your head over the ball and ensuring that when you're going down, you time it with the delivery and the flight and the trajectory of the ball. Don't go down too early. You don't need to hit it really hard. You just need to be able to get your head over the ball, hands fully extended. And again, even if you're hitting across the line, it's not just a very abrupt swing that you do. It's rhythmical. It's in sync with what's coming at you. And again, if you're sweeping square, you get your leg as a second line of defense closer to the ball. But when you're slog sweeping, you need a bit of room for your hands to really go through. So
Do you premeditate, or is it instinctive?
I think the best people who sweep can do it both ways. My sweeping is always premeditated because I'm not great at it. But Yunus Khan was great at just getting his foot down and going across anything that was in front.